Hey everyone! As you can see, I'm fine. I'm sure you all have seen what's going on the news over here. Just wanted to check in, do a little update, tell you what's been going on here. First off, don't be worried about me. Be worried about the people more north of here. Everything around here is relatively fine. It's the people north, basically northeast of here, along the coast, especially around Sendai City and Miyagi Prefecture, um, that are getting hit or have been hit the hardest. Um, so this video is not going to be some hype fest about, you know, how in trouble I am or anything. I am not who you need to worry about. Um, but anyway, let me go through the day's events or the yesterday's events for me now because I went to sleep last or actually early this morning, and now I'm up and been out and about a little bit. Okay, so the earthquake hit around, if I remember right, around like 2:40 p.m. our time here. I was in my second language class. It was fixing to end. We were fixing to go on break, and I actually felt the quake maybe 10 to 15 seconds before anybody else in the class did. And I kind of like, yelled out to my friends. I'm like, "Oh, earthquake!" Which happens here. It's happened like several times since I've been here. You feel earthquakes. Um, just little shakers, so to speak. And for a second, nobody really felt it. Then they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, there is one." It kind of built up a little bit, and so it was a neat little thing. Everybody in class was, for about 20, 30 seconds or so, everybody was kind of like, "Oh yeah, earthquake," it's fun, little shaker. But then after I guess 30 seconds, I'm really just taking a guess with these times here. It started picking up, and you knew then, like the kind of the second little wave, that this wasn't normal. I don't know how I would know that, but I think most people would agree with me, even if they haven't been here long. As long as they experienced some, you just kind of knew, like, once that kind of second little stronger wave hit, that, like, yeah, something was up. And then maybe 30 seconds after that, like, the big, Shindo 5 level shockwave started rolling through, and that's when everybody kind of hit the deck. And with our school, it was not a like a fast vibrating shake like this, like I've seen in some of the other videos. With our school, it was more this like just this rolling, you could motion going on, just waves going through the building, as the building just like rocked like that. I think that has to do basically with the resonance frequency of the building that you're in. Different buildings will have different resonant frequencies. And the closer if I remember right, the closer your building is to the resonance frequency of the quake vibrations, the worse it is. So I'm guessing our building was fairly good in regards to whatever its resonance frequency was. Because I've seen other videos from other buildings in our exact same area of Tokyo, basically, that where it's much more of the like quick. It looked from inside the building like the quick jerky type shapes, where our waves got transferred into like this bigger rolling motion. I don't know which one's worse, but that's just how it was. So anyway, then after that, we all got up, and our school, was very, good at handling it. They came in and said that they were going to keep us there, and they basically knew that shock waves or the aftershocks were going to occur, and there would probably be another big one. And then there was like a pretty decent aftershock, maybe 15 minutes later, something like that, when we got on the ground again. Then after that, let's stop right there. Okay, so let's go to my experience during the quake. I stayed cool. I was calm during the quake and did what I was supposed to do. There are some people that, some people ran out of the building in a panic, kind of, where some people actually just left the building just to go like see what was happening outside. I stayed put and just got down. But I'll be honest, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was very scared. There's plenty of people like, oh, it wasn't anything for me. I'm kind of like, bullcrap. When you're thinking a building might be fixing to come down on you, and you're not scared, you probably need to get that checked out. But anyway, so yeah, I was pretty, yeah, I was scared. Not gonna lie, and it's probably the most scared I've been in different. I've been in car wrecks and things like that, where that's like that instant, like it just hits you all of a sudden. You have no time to react type fear, and it's like, you're scared and then done being scared in like a second, type deal. But this was like that, a minute or two or whatever of you're just wondering like, is this building coming down? Is this fixing to happen? So that was kind of pretty weird. But anyway, so second aftershock hits, and basically the whole time, even between the aftershocks, it's like the building has not stopped moving. You could feel just a very slow like shaking or almost rolling sensation, I should say. But anyway, so we got done. The school let us out to a park, and almost all the neighborhoods in Japan, they have special like evacuation areas for earthquakes, and they're usually like little parks or open areas. We went to like a school playground. We hung around there, and we got to see like a great thing of, I guess, technology. The Japanese cell phones. My iPhone couldn't do this because it was an American cell phone. But the Japanese cell phones have a system called OneSeg, and it's basically like a built-in digital TV tuner. It doesn't use the internet. It's like its own separate network. I don't want to say, it's kind of like having rabbit ears on your TV, except built into a phone, except it's digital. So people could instantly, basically, as soon as the earthquake happened, were flipping their phones to TV mode and watching the actual like Japanese TV news network. And so by that, it's really crazy. Like, we got to see the stuff happen live. Like, the news started broadcasting the tsunamis and things, and it's like, this is happening right now. Like, this tsunami has not hit yet. You're actually watching it come ashore, And I think I've read this is the first time in history, like, they've actually been able to, like, people live actually watch the disaster take place. So basically, we're very well informed for the most part, as long as you had your OneSeg. Excuse me, my light source. As long as you had the OneSeg thing on your phone, which some of my friends did, so we were able to watch. Of course, the phone service itself basically got jammed up. I don't know if it actually went down or if it's just because everybody instantly started trying to call everybody. My internet actually remained working for almost the entire time on my phone, so I could check news feeds via the internet like that. So that was nice. All the trains shut down. Pretty much, I think the entire rail network in Tokyo shut down. And then after maybe an hour or so, we got to leave. You could go do what you want. They basically released you from their custody of the school, which you technically could have left at any time, but tried to follow along with the school rules. And I live only like a 35-minute walk from school, so it's great for me. A lot of people live like be 3-hour walk from school, so they were basically stuck until the train started up again, which they actually did in the middle of the night pretty much, which was really good. They usually don't run in the middle of the night, like around, between like 1 and 4 in the morning, they're almost always shut down, but they actually open them back up during those times, or at least some of the lines to let people get home. Notable things. This is actually the main thing I want to talk about here, because it's kind of the most amazing thing, and it's the Japanese people, how amazingly non-panic, non-big deal was this to anybody out on the street. I mean, the whole train network, the train network in Tokyo, that is the life of the city. Like, without the train network, if this would have happened, something equivalent of that back home, where that big of a, I guess, infrastructure or resource was basically shut off to people, it would have been just chaos. Just chaos. It would have been. Because I've been through hurricanes back in I've been through Katrina. I was stuck in a building for a couple of days as it flooded, actually, in Mobile, Alabama. But I've been in, through several hurricanes and tropical storms like that. And during some of those storms, they were nothing. Absolutely nothing. Katrina was a pretty big deal. But other storms that were nothing. Yet I remember like trying to go to the store and there being like people kind of freaking out in Walmart and big lines and people rushing to get things for something they had like days to plan for, and just it's funny that there was more hype during almost even some tropical storms I've had back in Mobile, which, like I said, tropical storms to people in Alabama should not be anything. But there's been more hype about that than there was here for the biggest earthquake in the history of Japan and the 5th largest earthquake in the world, with tsunamis coming in. And this is while they were still coming in. Train systems shut down. 122 rail lines shut down within the city, and nothing. I mean, complete silence. Organized people, completely calm. Nobody yelling, nobody screaming. Just lines of people, nice and quiet, sitting around the street, waiting for instructions from the local authorities. A lot of the sidewalks are full, but people just, moving along as normal. 2 hours after the quake, 2 hours. We went to the schoolyard and then we left. It was about 2 hours after that. Businesses were open back up. There was guys putting the shoes back out on the street, like the Nike shoes out in front. I mean, back home, that's like be getting looted. I mean, if that happened. There was people signing up for karaoke, to go into karaoke places. I mean, right after the quake. Because they were stuck, and I guess some of the karaoke places were just like, whatever, just keep it going. Then we went in and ate at a restaurant, and just nothing. Nobody was like in there all, acting frantic, talking and yelling and to their friends about, oh my gosh, how crazy it was. Because by the way, even by Tokyo standards, this is like one of the biggest shocks that anybody, even Japanese people, have ever felt. At least most of the ones that are alive today, except for some really elderly people that could have been around. Man, they'd be stretching it for like the 1923 quake, or if some people were from Kobe during the 1995 quake that hit there. But yeah, just like I walked home. And it was almost weird. It really was. How quiet and calm everything was, and it's amazing, pretty much. And then I won't have enough time in this video, but I'll make this a part 2. I went out and got shots on my neighborhood. I'm just walking. It's gonna be a shaky camera because I'm not trying to walk around like an idiot. I'm basically just holding it right here so I don't look like a retard, walk around filming people. But I just walk down my street here in my neighborhood, so you can see what it's like after it. And you have to remember, like, we got hit with, it's called Shindo 5 levels, that's nothing to laugh at. Its max is a 7, and 7 is like extremely, a 6 is, you're screwed, usually. So when we got hit by a 5, which is considered, allergies, that's no joke. Like I said, even for Japanese people, in Tokyo, this is the biggest some people's ever felt in their life. And, but you can see how everything is just crazy. There's people, you'll see it in the videos, like in the beauty shops, like going to their beauty appointment, just like it's a normal day, so that's what it's like here. The big worry right now is just figuring out what's going to happen to this nuclear plant. They told people to evacuate, and it's not densely populated area at all, and the winds are actually blowing in the proper direction. So if there was a complete catastrophic meltdown of like the worst kind possible, it would be bad in terms of radiation leakage, but it's not going to be I don't think it's going to be some like world ending. It's not going to wipe out like Tokyo or anything. Most people are told to be getting out of there, and the wind would carry it actually in the perfect direction offshore right now, the radioactive material. So it'd be really bad in that area radioactivity wise, but it shouldn't be something that just, it's not going to wipe out, 100,000 people or anything like that, or it shouldn't. From my understanding, from my reading and satellite photos, the population densities around there. But it's still, don't want that to happen, so we're going to wait and see what the result of that is. So yeah, I'm here, there, just keep the other people in mind that actually got it way worse north of us, and then just watch the second part of this video so you can just kind of see how things really are down on the ground here where I live. Alright, later.